everybody. It is Randy over here at Ask the Masters, and well, the whole team actually wanted to catch up with Mr. Eric Herman. You know, for 22 years, I believe, Eric, I've received magazines or read the magazines online, and it's been a staple. And all of a sudden this month, as I was wading through, I was surfing. I was actually surfing around, hit WaterShapes, and man, we've got a little bit of a different look going on.
We sure do. Yeah. Thanks for having me on. It's good to be with you. Appreciate you asking. Yeah. We put WaterShapes in the shop. It was being produced, the website, WaterShapes.com, which I like to lovingly refer to as the digital descendant of WaterShapes magazine, the original print magazine. And it had grown into an enormous website, both from the print years, which everything on the website from the print years is on the site. And then in the digital years, it continued to have original material. And so when I took it over last year, it had this enormous site with 4,000 articles on it.
4,000. Wow.
4,000. Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, it's really quite a anthology of stuff there on a lot of pages, put lovingly assembled by Jim McCloskey, who anytime you talk about WaterShapes, I mean, he is the man who really created it. Sometimes I get a lot of credit for it, and really Jim was the impetus behind WaterShapes. And what's going on now is really part of his legacy, because we took this big site, which was on it, frankly, an antiquated web platform, and we just moved it over to WordPress, the state-of-the-art and somewhat customized version of it. So we had this enormous task of taking all that stuff and transferring it to a completely different platform. And that was an enormous, I keep using the word enormous because the scale involved here of the amount of material was something I had never really dealt with in mass like that before. And the process of all of the decisions that you have to make when you're putting a website together, there was a lot of stuff from the original site that we wanted to keep in place, and a number of things that weren't relevant anymore. And so it was this ongoing process. It took months and months. And at one point we decided that in February, towards the end of February, we're going to take it down and really put it in the shop and finish this process. And at the same time, we also retooled our delivery platforms, which we were on one that wasn't working. We had this whole problem with it going into spam folders.
Wow.
And a lot of people, we had a quarter there, a number of editions that really weren't fully seen by everybody. And so that was another part. We figured when we're changing over the website to this new platform, we might as well change the campaign. So we went to Constant Contact. So we're on Constant Contact and WordPress, who are the two biggest players in those. And we had some wonderful people assisting us. And so that process is now done, and we are back up. The new site is up. Long answer to your question, I guess.
No, it's a great answer.
It was a big process, man.
It was catastrophic.
It changed my life for a while. And boy, did I learn a lot. Oh my gosh, that was an education.
And I noticed you have an opt-in site there that comes in Constant Contact. So if any of our listeners that Ask the Masters are not receiving it, I would encourage you to put your name in to the Constant Contact, or put the email delivery system into your contacts, and that will make sure that you're getting your most current copy of WaterShapes.
And when you go on to the site itself, WaterShapes.com, the sign up comes up. So there's a lot of adjustments, like the mechanics of how a website works, and and I'm the old dog learning new tricks, if that was ever true of anybody. Boy, it was me. And so I have rightfully been the butt of jokes. A big help through all of this is one of it's been my son, Brett Herman, is working with us, and he's like this mad genius when it comes to this stuff. I mean, none of this would have really come to fruition without the wonderful work that he did. And, of course, Dave Peterson was involved, and Lauren Stacked, and we worked with a webmaster named Stefano Grossi of Grossi Web, who is just brilliant. And we worked with a marketing company out of Pittsburgh called ITY, I-T-Y, all lowercase. Really brilliant company that worked with us on some of the templates. So it was exciting, and we're still working some bugs out. If you go through the website, you might find some anomalies here and there, and we're going through it, but it's up and working. And there's something else I want to share, just to run through the whole thing here.
Sure.
We've rebuilt the delivery schedule for WaterShapes. We're trying a lot of new things while still delivering the level of content and interest and stuff. Yeah, that's from one of the articles from our home page. We're going to do a publishing schedule that breaks things up a little bit more.
Oh, okay.
We're going to start each month with a full edition of what I consider the magazine. There's some real question about whether or not we can still call it a magazine. I kind of gone back and forth and kind of leaned towards still calling it a magazine. And Jim McCloskey himself, the guru, the oracle of all this, does not think it should be called a magazine.
Well, it is WaterShapes, right? I mean,
it's WaterShapes.
It's unique.
We call it WaterShapes, WaterShapes.com. But then there's WaterShape University. So there is a genuine thing about how the name is used and understanding it. This is the publication. It's an online publication. And this is from our homepage. And you can see the different articles, and you can navigate to different places. But so the publishing schedule, to get back on track with that, is we're going to come out with a full edition, which has about 9, 10, 11 elements in terms of editorial pieces.
Wow.
And so it's like, it's a table of contents basically that arrives in your inbox. It's how we've been delivering the magazine since it went out of print in 2011. And so that's going to come out at the start of the month. But then twice a month after that on Thursdays, and we move from Wednesdays to Thursdays.
Okay.
And we're going to have smaller editions. We call them internally, we refer to them as drops, WaterShapes drops. I know sometimes being clever, when trying to be clever goes wrong. But no, but these smaller editions where we might only have 2, 3, maybe sometimes even 1 article, because we're trying to plug into the way people consume information differently than they used to. We had these before. The way we were doing it was these 2 big editions every month, and when we really stepped back and looked at it, and how the thing was being read and the clicks and stuff, it really showed that we could gain by not giving it out in such these huge waves of stuff all the time. Have a version of the publication that's more consumable.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're going to see how this works. And also we're going to be rerunning articles from what we call the dark editions, where, well, it's like a bootleg recording. So there was this period where the email platform that we were on was we were making about every mistake in the book when it comes to getting caught in spam filters. That's over, and our traffic and click rate is up back where it should be, and we've done a lot of things to improve it. There are a lot of things that you won't see, but it's the same stuff. It's what WaterShapes has always been. This is the current form that's in. I mean, the biggest change that's happened, of course, is it going to being part of WaterShape University. That has also, this is like a new era for the publication.
Very well rounded. I think that's the thing, is there's something there for everyone. I did notice that the load speeds are much faster now, and you can go to this new darker look if you like that, or you can flip it over to the lighter look and go like retro if you want to live back 20 years
Where
ago.
do you check in on the dark light thing? Boy, that was an internal
Was it?
discuss. Yeah, I mean, there are two definite points of view on that. Where do you check in on that?
Well, let me see if we can make this happen right here. I'm going to share my screen, and then I'm going to go over here to the lighter side.
Yeah. See, that's
So
See, there's really two schools of thought now. Dave Peterson, co-founder of WaterShapes University, who was involved in this process and always has tremendous insight and input on all sorts of things. This was an issue that he really cared about, and Lauren Stack cared about, and we all did. Should it be light or dark? Well, we came to you can choose, but it loads dark. Dave will tell you that you're receiving less light when it's dark, and that if you look at all of the AutoCAD programs that are out there and that kind of stuff, a lot of the really highly used applications, they're usually dark. And so from an engineer perspective, dark is the look. It's kind of the AutoCAD look.
I would expect
from a print background. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just going to say I would expect nothing less than that technical, definition from someone like Dave Peterson.
Absolutely. And it's hard when it comes down to the hard science of it. Hard to argue. But of course, I'm coming from the more, he's the yang, I'm the yin in this, because, I'm from a print background and paper, ink on paper. This looks more like something you would find in a print publication. So I don't know if that's just nostalgic, or I think that there's something about the black on white kind of look that still, I think personally the photos look better in this, but it's so subjective, and you have the choice. So, but yes, thank you for noticing, because boy, did we really have some nuanced discussions about stuff like that.
I think we all have different taste, Eric, and that's why we married different women. So, if we all had the same taste, then everybody
would be a very, very crowded bedroom. It would be a very crowded bedroom.
So that's fabulous. So tell us about what you're seeing in the future. Where do you think where are you going here now that we're into 2021? We haven't talked to you since 2020. Where are you going? What do you think?
Well, I'm just sitting here hoping that the world that we do get back to something that approximates our former selves. The one thing, my crystal ball has been on the fritz for a long time, and never more so than the last year. It's all unprecedented, and I don't mean to be too philosophical, or maybe I do. It's like surfing, man. We don't know what's coming next exactly, but we know we have to ride it out. And people have done it to varying degrees of success. Fortunately, a lot of people haven't survived. I look forward, and I think in sort of more and more basic terms about what's important, and concepts of gratitude and compassion, and doing the best we can given the circumstances at the moment. I think maybe those are some silver linings going forward. Of course, we talk about the industry, to get down off of wherever that soapbox I was on just then. Unprecedented demand. I doubt that it will lighten up. I think that the demand for swimming pools and at-home environments, in some respects, will be permanently recalibrated. And going forward, for our industry, I see nothing but optimism. It's a matter of meeting that demand, of course, and sustaining a level of professionalism while increasing output, which is a big challenge.
Yeah, and
Pardon me, sorry about that.
especially Eric, because demand on product, demand on all of these, with what happened in Texas and supply and
Oh
um,
boy.
yeah,
Is
most,
that-
the
wow.
staycation, most of the builders we're talking to right now are booked through 2021, and
Oh yeah.
they're expecting that, that it's going to be a wonderful year, and you're right, it's staying ahead of it, staying positive, not upsetting the clients that are really wanting to put these backyards together. And that's a bit of a juggling act, and trying to keep everybody happy while you've got so much work going on.
So here's another thing that might confuse some people. I mean that in a playful way, of course. I recently had a couple of things coming out in Aqua magazine, my old uh, publication I used to work for 9 years while I was away from WaterShapes. And they got in touch with me and wanted me to do some kind of bloggish type writing. And so one of the things I tackled, because I have a great habit of stating the obvious. And I think what's obvious but needs to be reinforced is that in this kind of circumstance, it's absolutely critical that people really take care of themselves, take care of yourselves, eat your vegetables, get your rest, and realize I was using the analogy of the like from the Stephen Covey book about like the goose and the golden egg.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a goose that lays golden eggs, right, and you enjoy having the golden eggs, then you should take care of the goose. Well, you're the goose. And never has the golden egg quotient been more plentiful than it is now. I mean, you talk about all the analogies, make hay when the sun shines. I mean, the pools have gone from being considered by many a pure luxury to what some people would tell you is close to a necessity in some circumstances. I know parents of teenagers, bless their hearts, who will say, if you spend 6 months in a pandemic at home with your, 13 to 19-year-olds, and you're going to want to have a pool. And so that's what's happened. It was like, oh man, I got to hunker down. I do have to have recreation at home. This actually is important for my quality of life. And yeah, so what's happened is an industry that was probably somewhat underpopulated to begin with, for a variety of reasons, labor shortage going into this, now has been pushed to the absolute limits of production and demand, and everything's taking longer. Products are being longer. So, I mean, you talk to everybody. I mean, everything's just being attenuated. And so what about Texas? Water expands. They don't winterize pools there. You get a perfect storm of just crazy freezing temperatures, and the power goes out. And now any thought, I think, of the supply chain catching up with the current demand is sort of toast for a while, right?
Yeah, certainly for 2021, I think they're talking about bare shelves, to try and get anything, filter parts. They blew apart the top of a filter, but you can't get the part. So many people are just installing new filters. It's difficult there at best. So we certainly hope that Texas comes back as rapidly fast as possible and recovers, because the season's on them. It's time to go swimming there.
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that there's going to be pools that are impacted by it for some time going forward, but let's put it out there. It's Texas, and they take pride in being able to take a tough situation and turn it around. That is true, and bless their hearts, I have confidence that the people in Texas this industry will rebound. It's crazy to think about like how much damage something as basic as freezing water can cause, right? I mean, this is why they winterize pools in places where it gets below freezing for a long time. And so, when you heard that, it's like I was talking to one of my close friends there in Texas, a builder, who said he estimated at the time that, 75% of equipment pads in the state where it would be damaged, if you think about it. Wow.
Yeah.
So boy, what an extraordinary time when you add like that into the mix on top of the pandemic, the crazy demand. It's so the future, to get back to your question, I have no idea. I just think you're going to hold on, and I mean, there's a lot of reasons to be optimistic. There always are. And just like some people have thrived during the pandemic, it's all what you make of the circumstances in any given moment. And I think a lot of people that do what we do have seen the value of what they bring to the world in creating places that are luxurious and beautiful, and give people, a venue to exercise and be together and have a quality life, even if the world around you has gone temporarily bonkers.
Absolutely.
So anyway, yeah.
Eric, I think you're right. We do have this pool industry, and it is the goose that's laying the golden egg. And the key is to take care of the goose right now. So do your best to pay attention, take care of your clients, and prosper while the time is great. We all remember 2008, and if we need to take advantage of what's happening right now in the industry, and we're extremely fortunate.
We are extremely fortunate, and it's challenging, right? I mean, there's a tricky balance between going as fast as you can and getting as much done as you can, and maintaining a high standard. And, at the same time, moderating expectations for your clients. I mean, this is not a time you can, say, well, we're going to get it in like very fast and set that expectation because you want to get the job. That's it strikes me that this is when you kind of moderate expectations, and if things accelerate and you can get ahead of the curve a little bit, all the better.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think we're going to be feeling the waves of this time for a while yet. I mean, we know everything's cyclical. This too shall pass, like the real estate market right now. I mean, it's just nuts, right?
Sure.
But hey, glad to be here, glad to be anywhere, and glad to be with you, Randy. Man, you look good. Getting some sunshine out there.
A little bit of sunshine.
Orange County.
Yeah, just like you are out in Palm Springs. Great new look on this WaterShape magazine. You can either do it in the dark or the light mode, depending on your preference. And
yes,
so we're looking forward to the articles coming out. Keep us going. Keep communicating with your clients if you can. That's the key right now. Is, like you said, set the expectations to the right expectations. Eric, great knowledge bombs dropped everywhere, like you always do today. appreciate the update on the new website.
We do the bombs, man. We're dropping the bombs.
I like it. So we look forward to talking to you, Tune. For all of our listeners that Ask the Masters, please reach out. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button on the WaterShapes magazine. Follow WaterShape University, and let's make this year a great one. Thanks so much, Eric. We're out of here, buddy.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.